Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's fucking banging.
Banging card. Welcome back to round 12 of Strike Thoughts. My name is Sandip and I'm here with Big Pete Frost. How you doing, mate?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm hot.
It is hot, isn't it? Fucking heat wave. This is what Phil was talking about. He kept telling everyone.
Well, the heat wave was coming.
Maybe in the group or on the NBA. It's just like, yeah, it's heat wave next week. So yeah, weather.
No one's listening. It's absolutely roasting. Almost as hot as it's going to be on Fight Island, Pete. I know your excitement just keeps getting perked by it. What's the latest with it then?
So this week's one's still at the Apex, right?
Yes.
This Saturday's still the Apex, and then I think, is it the one after that?
It looks
Fight
like
Island,
it,
maybe. Yeah, start in July. So yeah, no, I'm fucking looking forward to it, man. Just like I think I said to you before, like just it's going to have a different feel to it. I'm wondering whether there's going to be more people there, if there are people on this island already and like doing other stuff, and it's just going to be like just a different look at it, and hopefully it's the start of things getting back to normal.
Well, Dana did say that they've got some of the strictest rules at the moment for COVID, so surely they can't have a crowd.
Oh, really? Oh no, not a crowd. No, I don't know why. I think just at the Apex, it does feel like just a training centre. Do you know what I mean? Even when I can't remember what the last arena we watched was. Maybe it was Gaethje Ferguson.
Yeah, it was at Jacksonville.
But even that, I just enjoy that more. Just them walking out in a big, massive arena. Yeah. I don't know why I enjoyed watching them ones more than this little arena. Not that it matters, because we said they could organise it anywhere because it's just a cage, and but it's just that feel to it, and obviously it's just exciting being on some mad island.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think they're doing it because it's easier for international fights to happen, stuff like that. So hopefully there's more fights that they can make. And they don't have to keep doing these, making people fight 2 weeks later after losses and catch weights and shit.
Yeah. Fingers crossed it gets a little bit more organised, let's say. But I mean, I think we'll look back on this. I think we will look back on this time fondly. I think we'll look back on it and be like, "Do you remember when just having rucks in the Apex Centre?"
Yeah, and just them making it happen. Really, I keep seeing things pop up now, and it's just like all these different sports. Even though some of them are coming back, like. But they don't seem as good. Like the football doesn't seem as good. They just seem like training matches and like trying to do different things. I think like pumping the sound into the crowd, and whereas UFC was literally right, let's get this done as quick as possible, do it properly. Everyone gets tested, and we don't need a crowd. So fuck it.
What did you think of the crowd noise on the football?
At first, it was a bit weird, but then I didn't think it was great, but I just sort of forgot that it was happening. Do you know what I mean? Once you get into the game, I tried to get into the game. It was just weird. I can't imagine it. I can see it working for football better than, or even NBA. I reckon it'd be good for NBA because it's a bit like they play the music and stuff anyway, don't they?
Sound effects
all the funny shit like that. So I think that'd be like pumping if they do it in there, but. Yeah, it wouldn't work with the UFC. I don't think.
I don't think it would work for the UFC. And it'd be funny if they were just two fighters on the ground for a little while and the geezer started playing booze.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
I thought it was all right. But I don't think UFC needs it. I think it's fine the way it is. But I am enjoying these fights. Last weekend was UFC Vegas 3, the third event at the Apex Centre, obviously that they're called in UFC Vegas, and it was a great card. Should we just crack on with it, Pete, unless there was anything hot on your the press that you wanted to get through first?
No, let's get straight into it. I thought it was a good card.
I thought it was, as I say, right at the beginning of the pod, you might have caught us the back end of us talking about it. The first fight was Frank Camacho against Justin James in the lightweight division. Justin James throwing absolute bombs coming in. He found out about the fight on Wednesday. Big left hands, relentless swinging, and just finished the fight within the first round. Pete, what did you think of Justin's performance?
Yeah, it was great. I didn't watch it actually on the night. I watched it on the recap, but like it was just another one of them cases where there's two things really. It's like hit and miss. Do you go in there on short notice and just give it all in the first round or first or second round, or do you try and be like tactical and that? But then he said at the end, he said he's been ready anyway. I think all the fighters must be waiting for the call, so they need to stay in shape really. And yeah, the other guy just looked like he wanted to maybe cruise for the first round and figure him out. But
yeah, he didn't get the chance. Yeah, you're bang on with what you're saying there. So the commentary team were like, he found out about the fight on Wednesday, so maybe he's just thinking, I want to let it all go in the first round because he didn't have the cardio to do a full fight. But then when Anik spoke to him at the end of the fight, he was saying, no, I've been training for 5 weeks for this, and I've been on hold. But yeah, man, he looked fantastic. The left hands he was throwing, Pete, those left hooks.
Yeah, it was almost the exact same punch. Like the two that landed at the end that sent him down was like he threw one, and then it was like the other guy he looked like he sort of took that one all right, like wobbled him a little bit. And he's like, okay, he caught me there, and then it's like, oh, the exact same shot straight after it, and he just it was good. It was a good stoppage. Fucking hell.
Yeah, it's funny. Literally, you just said that because I was just thinking, stoppages are so. It's a weird one in the UFC because as soon as the fight stopped, Camacho was fine. He was coherent. He was walking around, but the fight was stopped while both on their feet. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of a weird one.
I thought he was out. I thought he was not unconscious, but I don't think he was all there. Like, even though, because I've seen people get stopped on their feet before, and they're sort of standing there like, oh, like, what'd you do that for? But they're not really. He wasn't. There was no way he was. That guy would have just kept landing on him. I think sometimes on the floor it's a bit like with Dominic Cruz, he was getting back to his feet. He says right at that moment.
Yeah.
So I think that sort of thing's a bit more. Oh, you don't know what would have happened if he'd have got up, but this guy just unloading bombs on him. And I think it was a right. I think it was a right hand. There was one right hand I remember in the replay right at the end when the ref did jump in, and it was like he didn't even see it come in. His like whole head twisted around, and it's just like. I think it would have just got carried on.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, sometimes I was just going to say they don't need to be like out. Like some fights you look at and you're like, oh, that was a good stoppage because he was taking so much. Like even the Ferguson one. Ferguson was, even though he was injured, like physically injured, like we found that out afterwards. But he was just all he did was shake his head a little bit and he was still moving backwards, but that got stopped, and I think that was good as well because it was just there's just no need for him to take any more punishment.
I do agree with you. I think we can't have a go at refs for not stopping the fight when a fight is getting battered, and then when it's a good stoppage, be like, oh, you should have let him go there. Do you know what I mean? It's like you have to let it play out. But it was a fantastic performance from Justin. It was his debut in the UFC, and it was the fastest finish for a lightweight debutant to date. And really, really, really impressive from Justin James. Frank Camacho as well. Obviously, we'll see what happens with Frank Camacho as well. But yeah, really, really fantastic performance there from Justin. The next fight was in the women's flyweight division. It was Courtney Casey against Gillian Robertson. This pretty much was as much of a one-sided fight as I've seen from in recent times. Gillian was just all over Courtney, to be fair. There was some good. I noticed Gillian was basically just full ground control the whole time. And ended it with a rear naked choke. Courtney's shots that she was throwing from the bottom. Now, but obviously it's because it's an empty stadium as well. But while Gillian was on top, Courtney's just repetitively throwing those sort of rib shots, and you can hear him. And Pete, it's just it's so horrible watching them because I know. Like they look so innocuous and they look like it's nothing. But I know if Courtney Casey caught me in the fucking ribs with one of those shots, it's horrendous. But Gillian on top. I guess it was just absolute dominance from Gillian, Pete.
Yeah, it was one of them sort of style fights again, wasn't it? Like same sort of thing with Jessica Rye the other day. And it was like I think I didn't notice it as much. I know because we spoke about it before, but it was the same sort of thing as Courtney Casey was throwing the sort. I think she threw more than a 1-2. Like she was trying other things like some front kicks and body kicks and stuff like that. But it was just I don't know when you get someone that's like she looked like that worried about the takedown like every round. And even her corner, I think she was saying to her corner, she was like, I can't get her off. As soon as she's on me, I can't keep her off. And they were like, yeah, I know. Well, you need to do this, you need to do that. And then I think there was even a little bit at the end where she subbed her. It was like she looked over at her corner as if to say, like, what the fuck?
What the fuck, yeah.
that was the wrong advice, or that was I couldn't do nothing about that. It's I don't know, it's weird, man. Like to be at that level and not even. I don't know. I think they was even talking about the way she was defending the takedowns, like Cruz and stuff. Obviously knows his stuff, and even probably Bisping knows about takedown defense. And it's like she wasn't even doing the right things when she was getting pushed up against the cage. So it's like I don't know. Maybe they were just that confident in her striking, but
Well,
not the way, is it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But in a fight like that, I feel like if you know that you've got the advantage on the feet, the other fighter's got the advantage on the ground, they're obviously going to try and get you down to the ground. So in the small situations where you are on your feet, surely you've just got to let it all go. But then that opens up for the takedown. Do you know what I mean? So it's it's a tough position to be in for Courtney Casey, but really, really impressive. And as we mentioned, she couldn't quite finish her off with strikes. She couldn't quite finish her off in the first 2 rounds. But with 25 seconds to go in the 3rd round, she sinks in a rear naked choke and taps her out. Really, really impressive there from Julia Robinson. The next fight was in the middleweight division. It was Marc-Andre Barriault against Oscar Picotta. It was an amazing first round from Mark, in my opinion, really pushing the pace. Some mad uppercuts. And yeah, it was just a really, really kind of great all-round performance. It was a really good fight, really good exchanges. But yeah, it was just basically Mark really, really pushing the pace here and finishing him with some big punches. Basically just swarmed him in the end.
Yeah, it was a good fight. I enjoyed that. It was really good.
I was looking at, I was thinking, after watching, you watch a lightweight fight and then you basically watch a flyweight fight and then you get to the middleweights. Obviously, when you're watching a heavyweight fight and you go down the divisions, obviously, statistically, you're more likely to see a knockout in, obviously, the heavyweight division and then light heavyweight. If you're starting from the bottom and going up, I think it gets to the point where it's like welterweight is kind of where, you look at Woodley, you look at fighters like this, you think, okay, there's more chance of a knockout here but middleweight for me is one of the most exciting weight divisions to see because you've got the fighters aren't heavyweight, so they're not like throwing bombs. So you're going to get a lot of technique and a lot of grappling in there as well. But with the middleweights, because it's kind of like the upper echelon of the weights, the chances for a knockout it's so exciting watching this division.
Yeah, I think middleweight's always been a good one. There's always been like beasts in the middleweights, and it's like, you've just got that combination of speed and power. Like, I'm not saying the heavyweights ain't quick, but like, I guess the cardio as well. The cardio is probably a bit better. It's tough. You're always going to have people that are different that sway at both sides. Like, you got someone like Daniel Cormier who's got and Stipe. They've got 5 rounds in him every time.
Yeah.
But yeah, at welterweight, middleweight, sort of. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because we've been saying that the middleweight's sort of not been there lately, and now it's sort of slowly coming back. You got like Till and Whitaker coming up. Hopefully, Adesanya and Costa. There's some fucking proper exciting fights at middleweight. But yeah, it's definitely exciting.
What do you think about Till Whitaker?
He looks good. He look. I don't like the way that he sort of. He's obviously very vocal and stuff on social media and doesn't care about sharing what he's doing. And he's obviously got fat again, and now he's like losing the weight, getting ready. Yeah, he kept posting up his belly and stuff, saying, "I'm eating what I want. I don't give a fuck." Like, and then he's obviously having shit with Robert Whitaker and Mike Perry and stuff. But yeah, he looks good now. I saw some training videos of him today. He looks fucking sharp, like, and he looks like he just. It reminds me of Ricky Hatton a little bit. I don't know what it is with these northern fighters from England, but they seem to just blow all out, get fat, and then it's like they have to work. Maybe it's a good thing mentally, but it's almost like they have to work extra hard just to get the weight off, and maybe that gets him in the right frame of mind. But I think he's got a really good chance, especially after the Gastelum performance. Everyone thought that was dangerous for him, but I think with a win over Whitaker, it jumps him right up there, I think.
I think, and I'm not one to go out on a limb normally to make predictions or anything like that because, you always end up getting bitten in the arse with this kind of stuff. But I think Whitaker's got way too much for Till, personally. I just think, I just think the experience is there on his side, ex-champ. And I just think with Till, I don't know. I'm just not on the boat. I don't know what it is. Maybe I've missed it. I don't know what it is. I remember he done Cowboy and all that. That was good. But then, Masvidal flopped him, and I don't know.
Thompson was the main one that made me sort of notice, because when he fought Cowboy, I remember watching it and I didn't even really know who he was, so I was still a Cowboy fan. So when I saw him beat him, I was like, oh, he can't, like, he lucky bastard. But then it was the Thompson one.
Didn't you think that was I thought that fight was a bit boring, no?
Yeah, but it's like they've said before, when you fight Thompson, there's only sort of so much. I guess it's like the Woodley fights, or the Woodley fight or whatever. Everyone always says, oh, it's boring, and it's like, yeah, but you have to fight Thompson in that way. You can't just run it. You can't just bum rush him. Or
good point.
Even the Pettis one, Pettis weren't really doing anything, and he was getting caught quite a lot as well, until just that one little, obviously magical moment that someone like Pettis can pull out. And it's just, I don't know. But yeah,
Pettis knocked Till out, right, with a Superman punch, or is that what is that?
It was like a little push off the cage, and he just like straight right hand when it like sort of knocked him out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's got a lot. I don't know. It's weird. It's like people come in waves. Like Masvidal started off no one really took notice. He had a win here, a loss here, and then he hit that wave, and he just sort of like just got caught up in the momentum, and then he was just fucking beating everyone. And I think hopefully if Till learns from his mistakes, and now he's at a more comfortable weight, he's not cutting weight and stuff. So it's like, and like Whitaker's not that big either, and the way that Whitaker fought against Adesanya, just coming forward like leaping hooks at him and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know. It'd be good. It'd definitely be a good test, but like.
Yeah. This is a good test for me, just to see what happens. But I feel like Till has not really passed any. Cowboy's obviously a test. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like he hasn't really and gassed him again. But that wasn't really convincing for me. To get banged out by Masvidal, banged out by Showtime as well. I don't know. But again, he's English, so I'll be supporting him. And it's not like I'm not a fan. I'm just not really. I guess I'm not fully bought into the hype yet. Let's say.
Yeah, he's not on. We don't know yet whether he's going to do what like Bisping done, I guess. So that's what I mean. This will be a good test.
Yeah, definitely. Always good to see British fighters getting good opportunities anyway. And Bisping opened the door for a lot of these guys, so I feel like they owe him a lot. But anyway, that's a different conversation. Just going back to this middleweight fight, then really, really impressive from Marc-Andre Barriou. Gets his first UFC win, and yeah, really, really impressive from him. So we'll see what happens there. Pete, the next fight was really, really exciting, just for one fighter, really, if you know what I mean. But it was really, really exciting fight. It was Tecia Torres against Brianna Van Buren. Ticia's never been finished in the UFC. She's obviously a fantastic, fantastic fighter. Just before I give my thoughts, what did you think of this fight, Pete?
Yeah, so I watched this one back again. It was when I flicked over the night before, but so I already knew who won, but I didn't know how the fight went. And
right,
this was actually a classic case of what we were just talking about earlier. With this Van Buren's like obviously takedowns and stuff, and Ticia's obviously the better striker, but she's able to stuff that take. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how good this girl's level is of wrestling compared to the other girl earlier, but like to be able to stuff them takedowns, carry your cardio through 3 rounds, because it's tough stopping takedowns as well. But then she was just coming out on all cylinders, like every round, just fucking the speed of her hands and stuff. Sorry, guys, Steve.
Go on. Bless you.
In hell. There we go. No, Corona free. Yeah, but just I don't know. She just looks like she's built for fighting. She's just like a little animal. It was just like a really good performance, like striking wise and everything. Really, I think she's got everything.
Definitely. I've just in my notes, I've just written down. We talk a lot, and we've spoken previously about the different tiers of fighters. So we spoke about in the middleweight division, you've got like Adesanya and that lot, and then underneath this is a big drop off when you get down to people like to people like Marc-Andre Barriou and Oscar Pichota. It's like a big drop, and we've spoken about that in the welterweight division as well, and all the divisions where you've got like the pool of fighters that are trying to make it to the rankings, and then you've got just like the championship caliber of fighters. For me, because there's obviously a very, compared to men, there's a smaller amount of women in there, so the pool's obviously a lot smaller. So the difference in leagues between people like Nunes, between people like Holm, and then the rest of the female fighters, the drop-off's quite big. And for me, this fight just documented that so well. Tisha is in that upper echelon of, she's unreal. She's like, she's fought the best. Obviously, she's lost, quite significantly to a lot of other female fighters, but you could definitely see, like, and fair play to Brianna, like she put on a great show, nothing to be ashamed of.
Oh, but it's great. Yeah, it's a good performance.
Yeah, she's a very, very tough woman. But she's basically just putting on a clinic, like the striking, the technique, the cardio. She just looked unreal, and I remember thinking, so this is obviously the upper echelon of fighters now, and you can kind of really see. I say drop off. I don't mean that to be disrespectful, but the difference in tiers of sort of caliber of fighter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think this division. I think they said it in like round 3, and that's when I started thinking about all this stuff. I don't know why. I just love doing it. Like we said before, like matchmaking, fucking must be one of the best jobs.
Yeah.
Shout out to Joe Silver. He's getting some shit lately.
What do you mean?
They're all there's just loads of shit coming out. I don't know. I haven't read into it, but quite a lot of people were coming out and said they don't like the way he was handling things, and he was just the way he was with people. But
really,
I don't know if it's true or not. But obviously, I think he's got Sean Shelby in there now, so it must be such a good job. But what you're saying about that sort of top tier, I think, especially in the women's division, it's exciting. I think this is probably the most exciting division at the moment because I think at the top you've got Tisha, Rose. Who's Rose fighting? Rematch, isn't it?
Andrade.
You've got Andrade, and then you've got the two at the top, Weili Zhang and Joanna.
Yeah.
So it's like that all them together. I'm not saying they're all equal. Obviously, I do think like Weili Zhang is like the best.
Yeah.
But all of them fights, you could argue that either any one of them could probably get a title shot. And it's just exciting, I think, especially they're all most of them are strikers as well.
Yes, I was going to say there's not a lot of grapplers in there. In the strawweight rankings at the minute, you've got Zhang at the top, like you said, Pete, and then we've got Jessica's number 1. Then we've got Rose, Tatiana Suarez, Joanna. We've got Nina Ansaroff, Claudia Gadelha, who we saw recently, Carla Esparza, who we saw recently, Michelle Waterson, Tisha Torres is in there, Angela Hill's now ranked, which is great. Felice Herrig's in there. So, it's a mad division. It's a really, really mad division with a lot of high caliber fights.
Yeah, what did you? Because I've still not watched that one. I've missed that one. What did you think of the Hill and Gadelha one?
I don't know if I can remember it. I think
Hill was a bit pissed off that she lost. She thought she won. She thought she'd done enough.
No, I do remember that. Yeah, I do. I think Angela did enough to win that. Personally, I think she did enough to win. But it was a close decision, wasn't it? Claudia's just basically a bigger and a bit more control time, I guess. But I thought Angela did enough to win it. But she's now ranked though, so she's ranked number 13 now. Of course.
So. That division's fucking banging. All of them that you just said are all. Stacked. You don't look at them and go, they don't belong in there. They've all got a good shout.
Absolutely. So really impressed by both the fighters, obviously, and fair play to Brianna. She put up a good fight, but just Tisha was way too much. And then Pete, I wanted to move on to the main prelim. I'm really interested to get your thoughts on this fight. Bobby Green against Clay Guida. I've got a shitload of notes on this, Pete. But why don't you start us off?
I thought it was first fucking Clay. I love, some fighters are like, you see them now and they've been in the sport for ages. We've got another one coming up as well on the main card, but like some of them just ain't the same fighter. They fall away and you're like, they've not got it anymore. I know it sounds harsh, but like I look at Diego Sanchez like that now. It's just he's just I don't know what he's doing. But and then you got Clay, who's obviously had that great fight with Sanchez all those years ago, and he just comes out and just fights exactly the same. Like his cardio's not got any worse.
Yeah.
Just his relentless takedowns, his scrambles, everything, and it's just I wasn't disappointed with the decision, but I thought he did enough. When they said Bobby Green, I was a bit like, okay, but maybe they just went on the cleaner strikes because he was landing some good strikes, but I don't
he landed
think
more.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just the way that, and I usually go for that as well. I will usually go for the striker over just like control time. But I think it was the way that Clay was like ragdolling him as well, and
Yeah,
sort of just pressuring him and being aggressive. But I thought it was good. It was good. It was a fun fight.
really fun. I thought this was a classic for me. You had at the beginning of it, you had Cruz on the commentary saying, for the average fan, this is a prelim fight. It's the main fight of the prelim, but for avid UFC watchers, this is a main event caliber fight in the lightweight division. Like, these guys are veterans. These guys are really, really put on a great show. They were supposed to actually fight in 2016 as well, so there's a bit of history there, but Green had to have some knee surgery. I thought it was a fantastic fight from Clay. The first round was great. 2 big slams from him as well. Bobby had his hands low, and you could see him talking shit, putting his tongue out, just a lot of swag from Bobby. But yeah, I thought it was non-stop pressure from Clay. I thought he was good at changing levels, throwing shots, then changing levels. I personally thought he did enough. My favourite moment from the fight was in between the rounds. Did you hear Clay burping?
Oh, that's what I was waiting for. As soon as between the first and second round, I was like, "Where's the burp? Is he going to do the burp?" He does it every time.
It's so good.
Fucking so funny.
He's an absolute savage. Like, he's
Just I love. It's just the bit. That was it as well. After every round, he just runs back to his corner. He's just like, yeah. He's just like, I won that one.
Yeah.
So funny.
I was quite surprised. Maybe because we're big Clay fans, Pete. Maybe we watched it through rose-tinted glasses. I don't know. But when the significant strikes stats came up at the end, I was very, very surprised to see how many Bobby had landed. But yeah, I thought Clay. I agree with you. I thought Clay did enough. I thought he was the pressure fighter. I thought he was the one who was bringing the fight a little bit more. But fair play to Bobby Green.
Yeah.
What? Tell us what you think is next for both of these guys. Like, what do you think? As we said before, we're not expecting fucking title runs and that kind of stuff. But what do you think?
No. Just yeah, I don't know. I think out of both of them, especially after the decision, it's like you could argue that Bobby Green's the one that's more likely to push on and maybe go up the rankings a little bit. But I don't know if he's not fucking hell. I look at that fight and you see it like Clay. If Clay Guida can like ragdoll him like that, then what could Khabib or Justin Gaethje do or something like that? It's just that's what I mean. There is them sort of levels, I think, but maybe both of them could just have a good fight, just get some paydays and stuff. Like I'd still love, even now, I'd love to see. Even though I think he's gone up in the Diego Sanchez. I'd love to see that rematch. It'd be fucking well fun.
100%. I'd love to see Nate and Clay. I'd love to, because of the history there. I'd love to see that even now. And hopefully he's a good payday. But yeah, I think you're right. I think I'd love to see Clay get some more big kind of paydays in. I'd love to see him on a main event card next. You know what I mean? Just to get some recognition, because he is a veteran. He's been doing it for so long. But yeah, it was a great fight, a classic fight, and a fight worthy of a main event on any card, but it was the main event of the prelims on this one. Moving on to the main card then, Pete, just quickly get through the card before we preview what's coming up on the weekend, which we're very excited about. This was another catchweight fight, Pete. What's going on? Do we know?
No, we still don't know, do we? We don't know shit.
It's 159.5 pounds against 160 pounds. Jim Miller against Roosevelt Roberts. Jim straight away with a takedown. Roberts had that long reach, but Jim gets in there straight away with a takedown. It was a long and dangerous guard, but ended up on the bottom on an exchange. And this was a verbal tap, which is obviously quite rare to see that. But Jim sank in an armbar, really, really deep when you see it in slow motion, literally had it go in the other direction. And then Roosevelt, you can hear him go tap, tap, tap. So he verbally tapped on this one. What did you think of this fight, Pete?
Yeah, it's great. I fucking loved it. Just that he's in that sort of era as well. Same as like Guida. It's just like, as he still got it. But yeah, it was fucking. That's just what he does best. I think he used to be more like stand and bang with people, but he's not that other. Like I've seen Roosevelt before. He's got like wicked striking. He's got the reach. So it's just basically just perfect tactics and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. It's just And also what was I liked what he said at the end. He seemed so confident. He's like, said he's had like an injury or something wrong with him for quite
He
a
had
while.
Lyme disease.
That's it, yeah. And now he's like, they said, do you feel better? And he's like, yeah, 100%. It's just like I feel totally different. So yeah, it'd be good to see what he can come up with next. Even for him, he's got some wicked fights they could make.
Absolutely, yeah, no, definitely. They've got with Jim, he has moved into third on the most UFC wins, and he's moved number one for the most UFC fights. Like,
oh, wicked!
Just absolute monster.
Cowboy's not gonna be happy.
I think he might have tied him. So I think he might have tied him. So yeah, he's up there for the most UFC fights, and third on the most UFC wins. And yeah, like, do you know about Lyme disease, Pete?
No, no. Do you know?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to pretend that I've Googled it. The only thing I know about Lyme disease is listen profusely to Joe Rogan talk about it. It's fucked. But you basically get it from ticks, and they jump on you. And obviously, you know, when you get ticks, it's obviously horrible to have ticks anyway. But ticks then carry this disease, and yeah, it's one of those things where it's not spoken about a lot.
Yeah. It's in like the war, wasn't it, or like back in the day when they had it on ships and stuff. And that's is that like, who gets called limeys? Is it us?
I don't know.
I'm sure Americans or someone, because we took it over there on ships or something like that. And
yeah, they do call people limeys, don't they?
Yeah, that's where I've heard it from Dad's Army. That's where I've done my research.
Yeah. The Americans call us limeys because we took Lyme disease over there.
Fucking hell.
Fucking sorry about that, lads. Sorry, Jim.
Yeah.
But
it's not funny.
Really, no, it's not funny. Really, really impressive to see him come back from something as serious as Lyme disease to get, you know, to just come back in the UFC and get a win. I bet you, like me, Pete, really, really over the moon for him. Yeah, fantastic. Let's move on to the next fight. It was in the welterweight division. Bilal Muhammad against Lyman Good. Very, very touchy first round. The highlight for me was, it was funny because I was watching, obviously, mate, Lyman's body, like, just
I know, dear.
Absolutely bodied up, first team all-star dime piece, like absolutely ridiculous.
He looked like have you seen Inglourious Bastards?
Yes,
he looked like the Bear Jew.
Yeah, 100%.
But with short back and sides. Yeah, it's just fucking hench. But sorry to jump in, but I was just this fight. I was watching it, and you know how like you start watching a fight and you know exactly how it's going to go. Even if there's not going to be a finish, you're like, well, this is how it's going to be for the rest of the fight.
Right.
But that Lyman Good just kept turning it round. I was like, surely he's going to gas out soon. He's going to get tired. And then he just kept turning it back round. I was like, fuck, no, this is just, it was just good to watch as neutral because it was going back and forth. Like 1 minute I thought this guy was going to win. Then I was like, no, surely not. He can't keep this up, this pace. And then, yeah, it was just really exciting.
Yeah, it was one of the best fights of the night for me. It was so back and forth, like you said, really, really close fight. I enjoyed it. Like, but the highlight of round one for me was Bisping going, he looks just like me when I was fighting. Like, Lyman's body. He's fucking funny, man. So funny. But I liked it after round two, just going into the last round. Lyman's corner guy was just right in his face and just said to him, like, I don't know if you're seeing something that I'm not seeing here, but this guy's not that good. Why aren't you why aren't you knocking him out? Like, what's going on here? Like, what? Unless you're, obviously I know you're in there, but I can't see why you're not putting it on this geezer. And mate, Lyman came out in the third and landed some heavy shots. But Bilal, the technique was he finished the fight on Lyman's back with a full body triangle on, and Bilal got the unanimous decision there. He's won 7 of his last 8 fights now, and he called out Santiago Ponzibio. Santiago got a big win recently. Was it, who did he beat? Was it Mike Perry? I can't remember. But he called him out. I always rate it when people called out people specifically, but Bilal's looking to move up. What did you think of him, Pete? Was you impressed with him or?
Technically, I think that's what it was. He was when the fight first started, and I think Lyman Good come out with like a really strong combo, like lots of power, and it's just like, oh shit, this guy might be like out of his depth, but he must just be one of those guys he must have like, it's just like technique and power and stuff. and especially for his, I think maybe his corner was like Good's corner was trying to just like G him up a little bit for the last round, but obviously until you're in there with someone, you don't really know, like until you get hit by them. That's sort
Of
of like a lot
course.
of people say about certain fighters. It's like, oh, I've seen his videos. He's shit. He's like, he's this, he's that. He has no power, and then they get in there with that person. And it's like, fucking hell, like they got, like they sort of realise, maybe whether
Yeah.
it's just he's got that thing in his hands or his timing and stuff like that. But yeah, he looks really good.
It could be a big contender in that division, to be honest. So we'll see what happens with Bilal there. Really, really impressed. But again, impressed with both fighters. This was a great fight for me. The next fight was Raquel Pennington against Marion Reneau. This is what I was saying, Pete, about the kind of difference in the echelons of fighters. So Raquel's ranked number 6, Marion's ranked number 10. This is in the women's bantamweight division. Looking at the bantamweight division, you've got Nunes is obviously the champ. And then you've got Jeraine Durandamid in there, Holly Holm, Aspen Ladd, Juliana Pena's in there, Raquel Pennington obviously at number 6, as we mentioned. But for me, if you look at, it was a good fight from both these ladies. It was a unanimous decision win for Pennington. But would someone like Nunes or Holly, would they struggle with Raquel? Would they struggle with them? I don't think Marion or Raquel's going to put up much of a fight. Do you know what I mean? Or am I being a bit harsh there?
Yeah. Like she's had some good fights, Raquel Pennington. I think she's always been sort of up there, but yeah, it's just that gap between the top. Like it's just, I don't know. It seems like too much. Like you can't really say until someone gets in there, and
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just going to be a struggle, I think, for anyone moving up to fight that sort of level of fighter.
Yeah, Amanda's just at the top of that division at the moment. It just looks like an impossible task. But a good performance from Raquel. Unanimous decision. She finished the third round really, 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 really strong. And it was a close fight. But yeah, really, really big win there from Raquel. Moving on to the second to last fight, it was Josh Emmett against Shane Burgos. Pete, this was fight of the night for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I've at first I thought it was the one we just spoke about, the Lyman Good and Bilal fight. I thought that was really just back and forth and just entertaining. But yeah, this one was just fucking mad.
Crazy.
I know, it's just, especially with like you say, like now we can hear it and stuff. Just these guys' chins, how they hold up. It's like some fights like one shot and it's like over, and in other fights these guys can just take it 15 minutes.
Where was the chin? Yeah, it was
Non-stop.
because Josh has dropped. He finished fights with that right hook. He has finished fights with that right hook, and Shane was eating it. You could just see him eating it, man.
Yeah.
Absolute war. It was an absolute war.
It's so entertaining.
It was such a good fight. And do you know what? I've got a note here just to say, like, basically, this is one of the only sports, basically, in the first round, Josh basically blew his ACL, like, on his knee.
Oh, was it first? Oh, okay.
And what sport? Name me one other sport where someone blows out their ACL and they fucking just continue. Like,
it's fucking crazy, isn't it?
It's
so many people have done it as well, and it's just like, I know they're not sprinting or running up and down a football field or fucking basketball court or something like that, but it's, yeah, to actually you still a lot of pressure on you. Fucking, I've not done an ACL or anything like that
neither,
before.
thank God.
So I don't know what it's like, or if there's different types to it. Maybe there's people that have done it and not even realised. They just thought, well, I've pulled something in my leg, but it's just, oh, fuck knows. But yeah, just a fucking, I didn't even know about that until I noticed he pointed to his cornerman afterwards and was like, oh yeah, I think when I landed and it twisted and blah, blah, blah. So maybe he didn't really know, but yeah, it's fucking crazy what these guys go through.
Yeah, absolutely. Just maximum respect to both of them there. So, featherweight division is obviously stacked, as we mentioned, but Josh is definitely up there, and Shane's stock for me didn't go down. It was an amazing fight, amazing exchanges. What a chin from Shane to just continue to eat Josh's right hand over and over again. But it was a unanimous decision for Josh Emmett. Fantastic performance, really impressive, Josh. He's had a really big year. This quarantine's been great for Josh, in my opinion. He's had some fantastic fights, and yeah, really, really excited to see what happens next. Last fight, Pete, was Curtis Blades against Alexander Volkov, ranked number 3 against ranked number 7. Give me your thoughts on this fight.
Yeah, I wasn't really disappointed with the way he fought, just because we'd said before, like that's what he said he was going to do. Just sort of just use his grappling really and his wrestling, but yeah, it's just I don't know. It's the same thing with the levels. Is like, is he ready for the top guys? Like, I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
he's definitely got something, but I don't know whether he's at that level yet. Definitely,
yeah.
I don't think he's ready for like a title shot or nothing like that. But
No. I think heavyweight's another division where you've got all these fighters at the top, and then you've got a bit of a drop off. But it was a good fight. Like, if we just look at this fight in isolation, like first takedown from Curtis was literally within about 10 seconds. Volkov got up fairly quickly, but then he just got taken down again, and that just pretty much became the story of the fight. Big right hands from Curtis, and then taking him down. He broke the record for the most takedowns in a heavyweight fight. So just kept taking him down. There was a really funny bit during the fight when Volkov took Curtis down, and the commentators were like, "Oh, he took him down!" And even Curtis let out, like, he got taken down. He let out a little smile. He looked over at the commentators and let out a little smile. Like, I love all that. There was a bit where. And I think I mentioned this to you before, but the way Curtis knocked out Overeem with those over the top elbows, just horrendous. I remember watching that with the missus, and she did not enjoy that. But this was, again, he was throwing down those elbows again, didn't manage to finish him, obviously, but he was throwing down those elbows. And, you know, if he really steps up, I think he could do damage to a lot of people. Unanimous decision for Curtis Blades. In his post, did you watch the post-fight interview that he did?
No, didn't see it. No,
mate, he was fucking knackered. Like,
I can imagine.
He was standing there like talking like proper like this, and then it got to the point where he was asking him a question, and his eyes went and he stumbled, and then as he stumbled, he went, "Oh shit." Like, it was like he's just trying to talk. He was out on his feet, bless him, like absolutely. Knackered. He left it all in the octagon, and you got to rate him. But like you say, I think you're right, Pete, in saying that, you know, is he going to give people a bit of trouble? His only 2 losses have come to Ngannou, but if we look at this fight in isolation, really impressive.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Really impressive there. So well done, Curtis Blades. All round good card for me. Really, really good. And then, Pete, we come on to the fights that we have on this weekend's cards. It's another UFC fight night. I guess they're going to be calling it UFC Vegas 4, and it is Poirier against Hooker. We'll start off with the prelims. Feel free to interrupt me, Peter, as I'm going through any of these fights. We've got Jordan Griffin against Yusuf Zalal in the featherweight, Kay Hansen against Jin Yu Frey in the women's strawweight, Takashi Sato against Ramiz Abrahimaj. Ramiz is grayed out, so that might be up in the air a little bit. Sean Woodson against Kyle Nelson. We've got Philip Lins against Tanabosa. Philip Lins is a heavyweight that I do remember seeing. His last fight, he lost to Arlovsky. Yeah. So he lost to Arlovsky, which I was quite happy about because I'm a very big Arlovsky fan. But he was on a 4-fight win streak coming into that. Really, really impressive. He's a Brazilian fighter. So we'll see what
look
happens.
Like he could have some exciting fights, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Still fairly young. He's only like 34. So for a heavyweight, it's still pretty much just coming into the prime of his career there. So we'll see what happens there. Then we've got Mara Maria Borello against Miranda Maverick. That's in the women's flyweight division. And then the main prelim is Luis Pena against Karma Worthy in the lightweight. Luis Pena, a.k.a. Violent Bob Ross. I like watching Luis Pena fight.
Yeah,
such a good nickname as well because he looks like Bob Ross and he's Violent Bob Ross.
What weight is it again, sorry?
That's in the featherweight division.
Is that Sean O'Malley division?
Yeah.
That'd be a sick fight. That'd be a good
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah. No, sorry. This is hang on a minute. Luis Pena. No, this is lightweight. Actually, it's
Oh,
lightweight.
okay.
It's lightweight. So we'll see what happens. I'm really excited about just. I like seeing watching Luis Pena fight because he's so long and
Mm.
rangy.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens there. And then moving on to the main card, we've got Guillaume Valente against Maurice Green. That's in the heavyweight. That'll be a banging fight. Brendan Allen against Kyle DeKaus. That's a middleweight. And then we've got Platinum Mike Perry against Mickey Gall in the welterweight, and Dustin Poirier against Dan Hooker as the main event. Mike Perry, Pete, thoughts?
It's just gonna be interesting. This card, I'm not really. A few of the cards before, I've had a bit of like, oh yeah, I want this guy to win. I want this guy to win. Maybe because they've like in that sort of golden age when we started watching it. But yeah, I'm just interested to see because that's going to be that classic one against striker against wrestler, and it's
Yep.
like if he gets taken down, he's not bad on the floor for Mike Perry, but I don't know. You see what like Cowboy done to him, stuff like that. That's good. That's just going to be interesting, especially with no proper team behind him as well.
Yeah. So what's he saying? He's just got his misses. Is that it? Is he being serious?
Yeah, but no, I think he's been training with people. It's not just him and his missus in the gym doing all their tactics. I think he put up a photo the other day. He's training with two guys. I'm not sure who they was, but
Right.
and he's getting in his like, I'm guessing they're like wrestlers, but it's just weird. He's just sort of saying he don't need no one.
All right. I mean, we spoke about him before. I know you have got to be a little bit of a nutter to be a fighter, I guess. But he's coming off two losses against Jeff Neal and then against Luque as well. And he did beat Alex Oliveira before that. He lost to Cowboy before that. He did beat Paul Felder on a split decision, but then he lost to Max Griffin. And yeah, he did lose to Ponzinibbio back in 2017, which we spoke about previously in the pod there. You know, I think it's got to be Mickey's no slouch. Like Mickey's coming off a win against Salim Tuhari. He did lose to Diego Sanchez, who we mentioned earlier as well in 2019. Obviously beat CM Punk and stuff like that as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm really really interested just to see what happens with this fight.
Yeah.
So really really exciting to there. But then this main event, Pete, is quite big for me. Dustin Poirier against Dan Hooker. You look at Poirier's record, you know, he's lost to Khabib and he's lost to Michael Johnson, but he's got wins over Jim Miller, Showtime, Justin Gaethje, Eddie Alvarez, Max Holloway. You know, he's just got some ridiculous wins on his record there. Bobby Green as well, who we mentioned earlier. Obviously got that loss to big boy Conor McGregor there, Peter, but we won't have to go into that too much. And then we've got Dan Hooker, who's coming off a 3-fight win streak. He's beat Paul Felder, beat Al Quinta, beat James Vick. He lost to Barboza, but he beat Gilbert Burns. He's beaten Jim Miller.
It's mad.
It's mad.
That's the one that surprised me when I saw it in the highlights. I was like, "Is that Gilbert Burns?"
Yeah.
Fucking yeah, and I was just like, Jesus, like obviously Gilbert's moved up now, but yeah, I'm just excited for this one. This is a proper like I literally can't split them. I think it's literally 50-50 whoever turns up on the night. I think because like skill wise, I think they're both pretty similar.
Yeah,
I love the way Hooker called him out though. The way Hooker called him out was so fucking good.
What happened?
Hello. So I think he just jumped on the mic and he was just like, I don't even know whether I don't know whether it was Rogan or not, but it got to the point of like, where do you go from here? And he's like, Dustin Poirier, I'm gonna smash your face in. Like,
I do remember.
It's so good. I just love it. And that's that team as well, isn't it? It's like him, Volkanovski, Adesanya. They're all just fucking just doing so well at the moment and just all fucking thriving off each other. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know. If I was to lean towards someone, I'd probably say Hooker.
Okay.
He's probably sort of got the momentum behind him, and he's like, and also the kicks as well. I think the kicks might play a big part. He's just a weird guy as well. I think he can hit you from all angles. I think Poirier's got the better boxing, like just natural boxing. And even on the ground, I'm not even too sure. Maybe that's like 50-50 as well. But the only thing that sort of separates it for me is the kicks.
Right.
But I don't know. That's it. But then not saying Poirier can't kick. Obviously he can. But yeah, it's just going to be exciting, especially because someone like Poirier, fucking, you know what I mean, knocking out Gaethje, stuff like that. He's just an animal as well.
Yeah, I'm really, really interested to see what happens here. I think it will set the division in obviously a bit of a clearer direction around what happened. So,
Mm.
we've got Poirier, who's obviously the ex-champ, obviously losing to Khabib there. But then I'm really excited to see Dan Hooker and what happens. He's so rangy and long.
Mm.
Obviously, he's going to use his reach as well, but he ain't bad on the ground at all, and neither is Dustin. So I'm
Mm.
really, really excited about this. It's a shame. It is a bit of a small shame with both these fighters, the fact there's no crowds there, because this is the kind of fight that the crowd would be going mad about.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
at the same time, we're going to be able to, really, really be there and feel every hit of it. So yeah, really, 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 really excited for this card. And obviously we'll get together next week and get that reviewed, Peter. Any other wicked whispers from yourself?
No, the only one I did catch my eye was what's his name? I think Nathaniel Wood's got another fight, but I think it's a pretty tough one.
Oh, okay.
Literally can't remember who it is.
The prospect.
Mm. Oh, yeah, it might be. That might be Fight Island actually. I'm sure they're giving him a fight, but sure it's getting someone good or someone I looked at and I was like, oh shit, they're not going easy on him.
Let's have a look. So they've got UFC Nathaniel Wood against Umar Nurmagomedov.
Oh, it's Khabib's brother, isn't it? Is it his brother or his cousin? I think.
One of Khabib's relatives there. So Umar Nurmagomedov is finally set for his UFC debut. He's 12-0 in MMA, and he'll take on Nathaniel Wood on July 25th in Fight Island. He's scheduled to make Nurmagomedov was scheduled to make his UFC debut against Hunter Azure in April, and Hunter Azure obviously fought recently and lost. He's the one that got banged out by Brian Kelleher, was it?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That was a good fight, but they obviously cancelled due to the COVID pandemic. Wood suffered his first promotional loss in February when he was stopped by John Dodson. We spoke about that fight at length, Pete. But yeah, this is really exciting. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's a good test, and it's good to see I know it's not funny. I found it funny. Khabib's cousin tapped out. That was so fucking good.
Is it?
Yeah, what was his name? That's why because I think this guy's his actual brother,
right?
But I think his cousin was the one that tapped out to someone earlier in the year, and obviously McGregor's straight on it. Like,
yeah, of course he fucking is.
But that was what he called him. Nurmagomedov tap tap. Fucking hell. Comedy. This sport brings us comedy as well.
Yeah, of course it does. Of course it does. It's like an emotional roller coaster anyway. But yeah, I'm really, really excited to see what happens there. Some mad fights coming up, Pete. We're going to be buzzing about Fight Island. I fucking know we are. It's
weird as well because it's in summer as well. It's like if we were watching this in winter, it would be a bit weird watching fights in Dubai. But like it's going to be like summer here, summer there. It's going to be fucking so much fun.
I can't wait. We're so excited for it. Peter, thank you very much. And thank you for those who have listened to our dulcet tones for the last 40 minutes or so. We'll be back next week to talk about Hooker Poirier. It's a really, really exciting card. So we're really, really excited to get through that one. Peter, I shall see you next week, mate.
Goodbye.
Take care.